What's up, nerds and nerdettes, and wee little nerdlings all? It's your buddy Big John and G, the Two Gun Pixel presents Legendary Gaming. Alright, my friends, welcome back to another Midday Monologue Monday. And we have just wrapped up the Halloween season. Woo! I wish it was longer. But I don't know. Then it might take away a little something that makes it special. But anyway, I'm here with a final thought. A final Midday Monologue Monday thought concerning Halloween. Specifically, the scary part of it. The horrific. The dreaded. The fear. That aspect of it. That's what I want to talk about today. Because I've mentioned it before, and it's very true that I really enjoy when the genres mix up. When the different themes collide. I particularly like it when they use horror in that blender. But it doesn't always work. It can't always work. Why? And for which ones doesn't it work? I've been thinking about this because I do like the mixed theme and I do like horror. And there are a few things. Nope. Nope. And nope. So why don't you join me down the table and we will discuss why I think some things actually are never going to mix well with horror. I'll see you all down at the table. I'm still standing. I'm not at the table. Because I feel like standing. I don't feel like sitting right now. I feel like being a little movable. So, horror. What a great theme to mix with other genres. But it doesn't always work. Because I've been thinking about that a lot this month. Well, October. And I realized something. And the first thing that occurred to me was over here. Get that fixed. The first thing that occurred to me, whoa, that's not fixed. Woo, that's better. We're superheroes. Really? And one of the first things that occurred to me were superheroes. Horror. Does it work with the superhero genre? No. Not in a board game sense anyway. I mean, let's be completely honest. I think horror as a board game theme barely exists. And I say that because you don't get a sense of dread or fear from the board game. Maybe you can simulate it a little bit, but honestly, it's a game. It's not really there. There are factors, there are ways that companies and publishers get around this, especially with the use of sanity or mental points, mental health, to show that your character's doing crazy for this. But let's take a look at this for a second, and not just with the superhero genre over here. But we're just going to start with that. Now, when I first heard that the New Mutants movie was coming out, I was actually a little excited for it. And I was done with the X-Men movies. I really was. But I was a little excited about this because I found it very interesting that they wanted to make it a horror film, and especially using the New Mutants and the ones that they chose. You know, Mirage, who pulls nightmarish images out of people's heads as illusions to scare them, or Rain, who turns into a wolf, a werewolf. You know, this is all very scary. You're a teenage kid, you're having enough of your problems as it is, and now you're pulling demons out of people's skulls. Yeah, I thought that was an interesting work. I thought it would do well. We're probably never going to find out. But with that being said, would it work in a superhero game? No. No, it wouldn't. And I think the main reason for this is because when you're living in a superhero world, and especially if you yourself are a super, then the concept of being scared of things like demons and ghosts and werewolves and vampires and Bigfoot, it kind of goes out the window. When you know you're invulnerable to things, when you know you're so strong that you can literally throw a truck into outer space. Really, the concept of a werewolf or a vampire or something like that, it loses it. It loses its fear factor. Now, that's not the only thing, though. When you look at fantasy games, there's been attempts over the years. I mean, when second edition D&D was out, I immediately fell in love with Ravenloft. Completely. When the campaign setting came out, I ate that up. And it talked much about fear and dread. But it was hard to simulate. My players weren't buying it. And honestly, I understood why. I mean, when you think about a fantasy setting, whether it's Dungeons and Dragons or whether it's generic or just different, I don't want to call these generic. Different. Their own mythologies, their own creatures, their own stories. Well, I think the problem with that is living in a fantasy world, you're living in a world pretty much side by side with orcs and minotaurs, hippogriffs, krakens. You're living in a world where monsters aren't a myth. They're not a bedtime story to scare children into being nice and polite and friendly and to remember not to wander off by themselves. No, now you're talking about a world where these boogeymen are 100% real and everyone knows it. Yeah, that can be a scary thing. Just because bugbears are real doesn't mean it takes away any of the scariness when an army of them comes through your village and rapes and pillages and steals and burns and razes the place to the ground. But that's no more different than any invading army. Is it the fact that it's the bugbears doing this? Or is it the fact that it's just being done? The acts themselves. In a world where dragons are flying around, it's hard to understand the horror concept really working in that theme. And I would love for it to work in either of these themes. It works in the Wild West. Mixing the Wild West and horror is great. Joe R. Lansdale's Two Gun Mojo with Jonah Hex was the first time I encountered that mix, and I absolutely loved it. And it continues with games like Shadows of Brimstone. It mixes it well. Because I think the cause of the horror is alien. I don't mean alien like xenoforms or predators or Vulcans. No, I mean alien as in completely different. When you think about the Wild West, there's no cause to believe that a demonic creature manifesting is not going to cause people to go crazy. It's not going to cause people to shit their pants because it's so out of the ordinary. It's something that most of the people back then would never have believed, much less imagined. That's why it works with that. It also works great with sci-fi. It's a great mix. Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space, Desolate. I mean, these are games that take the horror genre, much like the movie Alien did, and inject it directly into science fiction. Now, yeah, with the science fiction, you have technology that's even beyond what we have now. Some of it even appears like magic, but it's not. And it's the frailty of the humans behind it, where the fear and the horror and the dread can take seed. Because these are still fantastically unimaginable creatures. Whether the fear comes because the aliens are so alien, or whether because they're more truly monstrous, extra-dimensional, maybe even almost Cthulhian standard creatures. The human factor in it is what brings the fear in. In a world with magical weapons and wizards, you don't have the fear. In a world where weapons bounce off of your skin, people can run faster than sound or as fast as light. No. It's impossible to generate that fear. You're never going to get it. Like I said in the beginning, I love it when the themes and the genres are mixed. And the horror is my favorite one to mix in, but it's not gonna happen. Not right now. Not the way I see things going, because everything I said makes sense to me. And that's not gonna change. The human factor in the sci-fi, the near godly power in the superhero stuff, or with the fantasy stuff. These all give reasons why it may work and why it doesn't work. But what else? What else can be mixed with horror? So we know that it works with the Wild West stuff. We know that it works with high adventure. I mean, Secrets of the Lost Tomb is a great example of how those two mix. And even with historical pieces, A Touch of Evil, where it's colonial America versus these supernatural creatures. What else do you think it could work with? What other theme are we missing here? What else can the horror be mixed with successfully? And on that note, what else do you think can be mixed in general? Maybe it's not horror. Maybe you'd like to see sci-fi mixed with something. I mean, I still remember Gary Gygax's Expedition to Barrier Peaks when it came out, and how much me and my friends, we loved playing that because of the mixing of the sci-fi with the fantasy. Maybe that's something more publishers should look at when it comes to mixing the themes. Which mixed themes are you interested in seeing in a board game? Maybe you've already seen them before, you don't think there's enough, or maybe there's an idea you have that you haven't seen at all. Let us know. Let's start a conversation thread and see what other people think about your idea. Anyway, everyone, thank you very much for listening to this, cap off for all the October stuff. And I want to give a great big shout out to everyone that's been going over to Two Gun Pixie over on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Very cool that you go see what we're dropping over there. We're trying to be more active. We're trying to drop more stuff. So keep your eyes out and see what we're doing over there. Thank you. Of course, thank you to everyone that's been going over to the Two Gun Pixie Zazzle store and checking out some of the designs that we put together over there for hats and shirts and hoodies and flip-flops and mouse pads and a bunch of other things. Stickers, pins, buttons. Thank you everyone that's been going to check it out. Even if you didn't buy anything, it's really cool that you took a moment to go and see if there's anything there that maybe you would like or someone you know would like. That's really cool, and thank you. Thank you for checking that out. But most of all, everyone, thank you for right here on YouTube. You subscribe to our channel, you watch our videos, you like them, you comment the videos, and please don't forget, share those videos. It's a great way to say thank you to us. It's a great way to tell other people that you think that we might be worth their time. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, thank you. I'm your buddy Big Johnny G, the Two Gun Pixar presents Legendary Gaming, and my friends, I am out of here.